What's good, everybody? It's RV,
DJ Burn the building.
Young E.
and it's Peas in a Podcast. We're back with another episode, and we got a special guest today. Very special guest. I would say he's a pretty big YouTuber, especially around the Bay Area. Big influencer, especially in the sneakerhead culture. But yeah, we got the boy Davidgotkicks in the building.
David got kicks. Came through looking fly in the Tiffany color.
Of course.
What else
I'm
should we expect
though? Bro, it's Tuesday. Yeah, you gotta be in the Tiffany.
I know it. Where's that next Tiffany Tuesday coming out?
Hopefully soon, man. I started it, like, I was doing it, and then I stopped, and then I was doing it again, and then I stopped just because I feel like people get tired of it, man.
Yeah, that's true.
You think people get tired of it?
Well, I just feel like it gets repetitive, you know? I mean, for me, I enjoy it, but for other people, like, I have to think about them. Like, oh, do they want to keep seeing me paint something Tiffany?
Do you feel like you lose the viewers or the people? Gotcha.
Like, oh, this guy's gonna keep doing this. I'm out. Like, oh, unsubbing if he paints one more thing Tiffany or.
So those are the things you kept seeing and like those comments that it was just like
that, and it's not that I ran out of stuff to paint Tiffany. It just. Okay, maybe I did run out of stuff to paint.
Yeah, I remember you were telling me that like. It was hard to just come up with more ideas that were more authentic, and it's just like
it's
like kind of versus forcing. Just I'm gonna paint this water bottle or something.
Exactly. It's like I didn't want to force to paint. Oh, let me just paint this fork and spoon Tiffany, and then let me eat with it. Like I wanted like genuine.
And something that was in the culture, you know, like that was something relevant, you know, like that Tiffany, the Tiffany drop, right? The recent one you repainted, you know, the Tiffany color, the yellow, the whatever. I don't even know the name.
The canaries.
Yeah, exactly. And so I mean, like I was like, oh, that's kind of relevant. So I know you stay in with the culture, right? So you're always observing, huh?
I'm trying, yeah. And it's hard sometimes, you know. You just got to keep up with everything.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm starting to notice. You post a lot about what's in. You know what I mean? Kind of. I think that's a key to YouTube.
Try to get with the trend.
Like what's trending?
Exactly. For sure.
Yeah. Well, David, I remember when we went to St. John's and. I remember telling you, hey, there's probably a lot of people that are new subscribers to you, and they didn't really know your story and how you started everything. They just probably subscribed when you're like, I don't know, 100 videos in, but they don't really know your backstory. And I know you probably told a little bit about yourself in some of your videos, but for those people, go ahead, introduce yourself, tell them what, tell them how you started. And just how everything just started clicking.
All right, for sure, yeah. Well, obviously, my name is David. I go by Davidgotkicks. I got my name just because for two things. I play soccer, so it's technically like David Got Kicks. Oh. Something a lot of people didn't know.
I did not know that.
Did anyone get that reaction?
Yeah. And just because I like collecting shoes, I have some shoes and got kicks. Kicks can also be used for sneakers.
You got a little 2-for-1 going.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay, bro.
And yeah, I just kind of.
So you've been into shoes for quite some time now.
Yeah.
Because I remember my thing for. I've never had a class with you. Like we've been around each other for like years. Never had a single class. But the one thing I knew you on was I think LU told me you did did you beatbox Pharrell songs?
Yo, dude, that's a don't even bring that up. Don't even bring that up.
Yo, okay,
those were dark times.
but also the other thing I knew, not only reason I knew about you, but the thing I knew you for was like you restored kicks, right? So how did that come about? Were you just always like into it, or is it just like an opportunity came, someone asked you, hey, can you restore these shoes, and you just did it, or was it something that was a hobby for you?
Yeah, like it's funny because Eliud was actually like the first person whose like shoe I actually restored.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Was it those white cement threes?
The white cement. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He knows. Elliot's a legend.
Couldn't even tell it was restored, huh? Factory. No, it's like I don't know. It just you know, there's always like been a market for it. There's always people are always buying shoes, and people obviously are wearing their shoes, and it's like, oh, let me see if I can try to fix it up, because I know there was a separate market for people who wanted their shoes restored or just customizing and stuff like that. And I guess it started with restoring sneakers.
But did you always want to customize, even from the beginning?
Oh, no. It just kind of happened.
Yeah.
I guess just playing around one day, and then it's just like, oh wow, this is cool. Like, and I've always wanted to try to stand out. So I guess they kind of just evolved into that.
And that's really cool when it comes to customs as well, because like I think it takes a different type of mind. You know, you have to have an eye for what you actually want. And one thing I remember, you did was Giraffe custom?
Oh,
was that one of your first ones?
That was one of my first like legit ones.
Because I remember looking at that and be like, holy crap! Like because I remember it, I seen the restoration of the White Cement 3s to that, and I was just like, dude, like
it's fire.
That's fire. And like I found out about Giraffe because of you. Like that's literally. Like, I mean, I see it around. You know, you see it around town.
Oh yeah, of course, because you're always in SF and.
Exactly. So I'd see it, but I never really knew what it was until like you did that custom, and it like put me on, man. Like I didn't realize there's that type of culture going around.
Yeah.
Like.
Are you into graffiti as well? Or?
Yeah, I am.
Wow, yeah, the giraffe back then, even I knew him about since like elementary, middle school.
Yeah.
You know,
really?
Dang,
our boys used to throw
he's that
it.
old, huh?
Yeah, you know, and he never got caught for a while.
Did you do graffiti? Like you actually?
No.
No,
man.
no, you just like enjoy it.
Nah.
We're on camera, so.
Say that a little closer.
Is this a setup? What is this?
The cops are gonna come
Cops
knocking
come
on the
out of
door. Excuse me, Davidgotkicks. You're under arrest.
We have all the footage we need.
Comes in proof. Nah, but that's time, bro. And you also mentioned soccer. Did you play soccer growing up your whole life? Wow.
Pretty much. It's in my blood, so I've always played it growing up. So.
Like all the way, even until high school and college.
Pretty much just until high school. College, you know, that's like a whole nother level. So, I didn't really play like that competitively anymore.
So you didn't even think about playing like major league or nothing?
Oh, I mean, when I was in high school, I did. I was like, oh man, like I want to try. That was my goal. You know, I was like, that was my dream. Like, oh, I want to go play professional soccer.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was trying to get at of you. Wait, so and you were trying to
Yeah, that was like I wanted to play soccer professionally, and then I just stopped playing. And I started eating more food, so.
So living the good life.
Did you play all 4 years at Fremont?
Unfortunately, I only played my junior year due to grades.
Only junior year.
Yeah.
Huh? Oh man, you probably would have killed it if you could.
Yeah.
Hey, but school's not for everybody, guys.
Yeah, no, it is.
It don't matter though.
Yeah. So you started doing customs at a pretty young age in high school. Was that the first time you were doing customs?
It was actually not high school. I think it was a little after high school. That's when I was restoring. I was getting more into restoring.
You're doing restoring in high school, and then you started doing customs right after high school. So how did you get into making videos and on YouTube, and what inspired you to do that?
So, well, at first I started, you know, every once in a while I would like paint a pair of shoes, and I would try to get a theme of a shoe, like the Nike SB Diamond Lows. I would want that theme and replicate it onto like another model. So I did that on a pair of Cortez, Nike Cortez, because you don't really see like hype with this shoe that is known for like, you know, cholos and everything. So I was like, oh cool, let's try to like mix these up real quick. So I started doing that, and then Alex, Sneakerhead in the Bay, he was like, hey, like these are pretty cool. Like, why don't you like make videos about it and stuff? And I was like, dude, I don't know how to do videos. Like, Like I tried to paint and everything, and I did that, but I never thought about like being on camera or anything. And I would watch like restoration videos and stuff like that, but I never figured like I'd be in their like position.
Yeah.
So Alex was actually the one that inspired you. He's the one that gave you the idea, like you should do it.
Yeah, Alex. He helped me out
because he was the OG. He's the one that did it.
What's like his Instagram again?
It's Sneakerhead
in the Bay. Yeah, man, that's OG. I would see that everywhere. Everywhere, you know.
In Bash, dude.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Dude, he was a hella famous on Bash. He'd comment and be like, oh my god, I love your videos. I even remember being like, who the hell is this guy? And I even clicked and I was like, oh.
Is Bash another
Bear Sneakerhead?
Facebook group?
Yeah.
Is it still around?
I don't know.
Really?
I don't have Facebook.
Man, what?
Yeah.
Not with that.
That's crazy. Facebook's a big market still, bro.
So, but for when it comes down to videos, like you said, this wasn't something you were initially planning. So how did you, like, for me, like, even like, and I know a lot of people, it's scary to take that step into something like, especially that kind of puts you in the face of it. How was that like when you first started? Like, how did you get used to it?
Well, I had Alex like as a good role model, so he showed me the ways, and then from there I would just kind of watch how he did it, and I would just use that and kind of use it in my form, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I would learn from that, and I would just do my best with it. And
did you have your own camera at the time, or would you use?
I did have my own camera. It wasn't the best, but
didn't matter.
It got the job done. Oh wait, that reminded me, that made me realize that, yeah, the first video that I made, it was on Alex's camera. Like, I had all these ideas and everything, but I was like, dude, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to edit. I don't have a laptop. I don't have a camera. He's like, bro, I'll help you out. Like, I'm like, all right, cool. Like,
what a real one.
Try it out. Yeah.
Yeah. How did you meet Alex?
Pretty much through like Bash.
Wow.
We met through a friend.
Oh.
My neighbor.
Okay.
Alex wanted to buy some shoes off me, so I guess we kind of just linked up.
That's just
like
how
that.
you guys linked, and
Yeah.
it's been best friends ever since.
The funny thing is, I didn't know about Alex. Like, I didn't watch any of his videos back then.
Oh, okay.
Before we met, so
Mm-hmm.
I think he had like 30,000 subs at the time.
That time, and he's almost at like 400,000,
I
500,000.
think
No, he hit five.
Yeah.
He hit 500 million.
Damn.
Oh no,
Oh,
500.
damn,
that's a lot. Oh
Whoa,
shit,
dude.
never mind. So 500,000 subs. Yeah, that's a lot. And you're at 270. I looked at it, and honestly, dude, that's a lot.
That's a lot, bro.
That's a lot. And did you ever think like you would be that big?
No, I didn't.
No.
Yeah.
No. So this is like something you never really imagined, especially as a kid, and all of a sudden
Yeah.
it kind of just took its course, and look where you're at now. I see
Yeah.
you're traveling, you're going to sneaker cons, like
He's like,
damn.
he's like, I am doing that stuff.
Like,
Chill.
you know what it is? It's like when you talk about it, it's like, oh damn. It makes you realize it, right? You're just like, oh shit, I actually did go do that.
yeah, because like what like you're portraying for yourself, especially through social media and through your videos. And I remember I was watching you during college, man, like from when you didn't have that many subscribers. I was like, wow, this guy's trying to be a YouTuber. Like, that's it. Because I always wanted to be a YouTuber. I wanted to make videos. And then when I saw you do it, which was somebody I didn't expect, it brought up another, like, ignited something. It's like, whoa, like he's doing something that's out of the blue. And like, not even just that. It's not like I didn't think like you were capable of doing that type of stuff, but it was just like, whoa, he's doing something out of the box that I didn't think he was gonna do. And it definitely inspired me and Spiff to do the type of things that we wanted to do, just to make that jump and not be scared of other people's opinions. Like I know as a creative and putting your stuff on the internet, you are basically opening your art up for criticism and opinions, and you're gonna get a lot of backlash on that type of stuff. So how did you feel, or how do you help your mind go at ease with some of those negative comments and some of that stuff that you know some people might just say about your shit, where you're just like, oh dude, that's fucking ugly, like, like that's a wag, like, oh man, what the fuck, like, what is that, like does it ever get to your head?
I think when I first started, maybe like the first couple months, I would say, oh yeah, it doesn't get to my head, but low key, like, it would get to my head.
Yeah.
But because I was starting, and I was like, I worked all this time on this video, and they're hating on it. Like, what? Like, am I doing something wrong? It just made all these thoughts go in your head. And then with time, you just kind of get used to it, and then you just kind of learn to like build a shell around you, and you're just like, oh, they're just saying whatever,
Yeah.
Because then there's the majority of comments, there's more like positive than negative.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Outweighs it.
yeah. So it's like, okay, they're just like, they're haters, just don't let them get to your head.
Yeah.
And yeah, pretty much
Yeah.
just one other thing is like, I realized that you can't win them all, so
Yeah.
it's like,
yeah.
if I paint a shoe red, people are gonna say, paint it blue. Oh, you should have painted blue. If I
Like,
paint
no
a
matter
shoe blue,
what.
if I paint a shoe blue, people are gonna say, oh, you should have painted it red.
Yeah, no
So
matter
it's
what
like,
you do,
no
there's
matter what, so-
somebody's gonna say something about it.
Yeah,
right?
so that's how I just go with it.
What when did you actually start YouTube up? Like, when was like your what year was it?
What time?
Or what year? What time
It
exactly?
was July 27th, 2015.
Wow.
At
You
11
actually
PM.
remember that.
Yeah.
Is that a real date?
15.
Yeah,
Wow. Why do you remember that?
because
So?
it was 2 days before my birthday.
Ah.
I'm like, it's alright. Yeah, alright.
Aight.
But no, that's sick, bro. And then ever since then, did you kind of try to upload a video every day or every week? What was your routine?
Yeah, I think right after I dropped the first video, I wanted to kind of keep the ball rolling. So I tried one video a day was too much
Yeah.
at the time, and I was just like, yo, maybe at least like twice a week, 2 to 3 times a week. and then we'll just see how it goes from there.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something that worked for you, you felt like.
Yeah.
Consistently dropping.
Yes, consistency is key.
Yeah. And when you gain it's like kind of like every time you gained some followers, you made sure you had another video ready, right? Because then would you see that pattern of people like going away if you didn't post or something?
Yeah, I would. And it's funny because there'd be times where, there's months where you get 100 followers. No, okay. Well, there's months you get 100 followers, and there's months you get like 10,000 followers.
Wow.
So it's like, you just kind of got to keep the ball rolling. So it's like you kind of notice whenever you get more followers. That's when you gotta like, I'm getting more followers. They probably want to see more content, so I gotta drop something for the new people, because the majority of them just came from like a video that's popping, that's doing really good.
Yeah.
So let's drop another video.
And do you think like working with Sneakerhead in the Bay, did that give you kind of his market too?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Man, that's pure love, man. Especially if you came up with him. You guys are kind of in the same circle, huh?
Yeah.
That's freaking dope. That's plug.
Yeah.
But and also I wanted to ask you, so when you started YouTube, were you still working at the time or anything? Did you work a regular job?
Yeah, I was.
And go ahead.
Yeah, I was.
And do you feel like anybody who's still starting up, they can maintain a job and do what you were doing?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people I feel like that go all in and then don't really have a game plan. You know, and that happens a lot with people, and that's why they tend to quit. So they don't understand that I still got to work a job or something to support yourself. So I think if you hear that from David, you better go get a job still.
Don't quit your 9 to 5 yet.
Yeah.
It definitely. It took me 2 or 3 years, 2 years to actually just like do YouTube full time. So
wow,
it just.
That's pretty fast though.
Yeah,
in the grand scheme of things, that's crazy. But that's still it's still 2 years. But it's cool that you were able to commit to like a schedule to at least a certain degree.
No, yeah, and the thing is like, okay, maybe I could have tried a little earlier, but I've always wanted that other job just for backup, just in case. What if this month doesn't do good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You still have a little bit of bread.
My bills,
Yeah.
or maybe I'll have that extra.
Yeah.
But this last summer, I was just like, okay, like let me see how it is.
Yeah.
And it's been good so far.
Do you know when you kind of quit? Were you ever worried about money? Like, man, if I don't make enough, then I can't do the show or whatever. Did you ever feel that feeling?
There's times where I'm just like, like what if this month isn't doing that good? What am I gonna do? Maybe I'll sell a pair of shoes, or
always got that hustler's mentality to back it up.
So we just gotta find other ways. That's another thing about YouTube. So a lot of people don't know is that on YouTube YouTube opens so many doors. So it's like there's sponsorships, you can sell merch or all that stuff. So yeah, it's like it's always good to have different streams of revenue.
Yeah.
So and YouTube has opened up a lot of that.
And that's your full time right now, just mostly
Yeah.
YouTube and all the other sneaker stuff you're doing right now currently. Wow, that's living the life, bro.
But that's a ton of work too, though. I think that's what goes kind of like no one really talks about it, and that's why you get all these haters. They think it's as easy as putting in like, hey, like I'm gonna post this video and then I'm done, but they don't understand there's like hours that goes into this.
Hours, blood, sweat, and tears, stress.
Yeah, and like hearing you talk about it, like, dude, you're not only thinking about like your own life, you're thinking about your community. Like, are they gonna like this video? Are they gonna be tired of this? Like, it's a lot of game planning that goes unnoticed by people who are just like the casual troll or like even just a casual viewer. So I kind of want to, it's kind of like off topic, but I think an interesting thing is that how long have you known Arby for? Because this is something that I wanted you guys to talk about. I mean, you're sitting right here, and like I know it's off topic, but like when I found out, like kind of blew my mind. So you guys want to talk about it a little bit?
I mean, shoot. I mean, we've known each other
grade?
fifth grade.
Is that when you came to Fairwood?
I came to Fairwood at third grade.
Oh,
but I think
my
we
bad.
No, I came in
oh
third
no,
grade.
wait, it was
third, but like the memories that I had with David, man, it's just like we would be on the playground and we'd be with Albert Mancera. Right?
Yeah.
maybe
And
doing flips.
we'll be doing fucking just flips
Wait, what do you
on the
what does
playground.
that even
Or
mean?
just, like just running, cartwheeling, flipping, front flipping,
Dude,
and we're just like, that's sick.
Dude, and we would get a crowd too.
Yeah.
we would get a crowd, man.
Man, we're putting on a show. So since we were young, man, elementary, we've been entertainers.
David got flips.
Were you like running at a wall and like would flip
No,
off?
we were
or you
like-
just-
Oh no,
So-
we weren't that good.
But you know, like at Fairwood, you know how they had the red cushy
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
on the playground. So we would just run and do like flips off of there.
We
And
knew
just-
it was somewhat safe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. It was fun.
It was
That is
fun.
so
So that was
crazy.
that was like the memories I had, and another one is like Yu-Gi-Oh was getting big at the time, right? And I think we would always just be chilling after school or something, even just for a little bit. And I didn't have any or something. I wanted some, but you had extra, and you gave it to me.
No way. Did
Yeah,
I?
you gave me
Yu-Gi-Oh cards?
some Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and I was like, oh shoot, thank you,
What?
David.
I
Like,
did that? No, I'm
yeah,
kidding.
dude. No, so
Can
ever
I get
since
those
then.
back or what?
Oh no, dude, nah, they're special edition.
Oh man.
No, but yeah, I remember that, and it's just a trip because those memories come by, especially when I first started seeing, like we don't talk often, you know, so going like into college and then seeing you do that type of stuff, like it flashed back all like, oh man, like I've known him for that long, and like look what he's doing, like he's doing something successful, you know what I mean? Or in our eyes, it's successful. There's a lot of like hard work put into it, but it's just cool. And I'm just really happy for you, man. Like I'm happy that you're doing stuff that you actually like
Thank
to
you,
do.
man. Appreciate it.
Like it seems like you're enjoying yourself during this whole journey and process. And it's cool. It's cool for sure.
So what are you thinking is next for you? Like, do you plan on staying on YouTube forever? Or is there like a bigger game plan in your head right now?
Yeah, I mean, YouTube's the plan right now.
Mm.
Later on, I plan on, coming out with my own clothing brand
Ooh.
or dropping some. It's not merch, but it's just like
It's an actual brand.
it's an actual brand.
Yeah. And I've do you have a theme in mind, or is it still kind of in the works?
I do, but I'm keeping it low key right now.
Yeah,
Just
you
until
Not yet, viewers.
Can't tell nobody yet.
tuned. No.
Stay tuned. No, that's cool, man. Because it's interesting to me to see like what these creators are doing. You know, like I'm seeing a lot of creators just branch out. Like it all starts with like one platform, whether it be like Instagram, YouTube, like Twitter, whatever it may be, and then they end up doing like even cooler things than that. You know, not that YouTube isn't cool or anything, but I know that like at one point you're gonna have that creative itch, you know what I mean, to do something a little different.
yeah.
And it's cool to hear that. I mean, a brand, if you ever need help, I mean,
Oh yeah, definitely.
I know you already got your own plugs and whatnot,
No.
but like we can definitely hook you up with what we know at least. You know what I'm saying? But I'm also curious about what is like the reason you're doing this. You know what I mean? What brought you into this? Because at the moment, it kind of seems like it just kind of all like came into piece. Like, you know, like, the puzzle pieces kind of came together for you. What keeps you going though? Because I can't see anyone doing this if they don't like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what's that one thing that keeps you going during all this time?
Well, when I started, I didn't think I was gonna keep doing this, and it made me happy. So if like I don't know, it's making me happy doing this, and I like seeing the reactions when people watch my videos or when people message me and they're like, "Hey, bro, like keep up the good work and everything." So
It's funny, like when you're saying it makes me happy, like you're kind of like thinking of more of a different answer, right?
Yeah, like-
but it's just that
That's
simple.
it.
it makes me
that-
happy.
Yeah, it's like you literally think of an answer, you're like, why do I do? You know?
I'm like, oh, can I say anything else than happy? I was like, nah, it just makes me happy.
No, and that's the truth, man. Like that's what a lot of people search for all the time. And you know, when you're doing your whole like shoe stuff, did you ever feel like if you had to go back to a job, you can do it? Or like, man, like I'm sticking to YouTube only and that's it. You know what I mean? Like, do you think you could go back to a normal life?
I was thinking about that, but I mean, I probably could, but I think that might be a little weird,
Yeah.
just in a lot of ways.
Yeah, like as far as marketing your brand, etc.
Yeah.
Right? I hear you. I'm all thinking about. I'm like,
Yeah, like
David got kicks at Foot Locker.
Davidgotkicks working at In-N-Out.
They get paid pretty well.
They do.
though.
They do.
actually.
They
It's
do.
like
They do.
$16.50.
They do.
That's
They do.
crazy.
But and also, man, you're into cars, right?
Yeah.
Man, I saw the very first YouTube video I actually saw from you is you had like a vlog talking about what was your very like first car?
It's a Honda Civic.
Yeah, that was a video I remember
97.
seeing. I think RV might have posted. I don't know. It was just a long time ago. But coming from that, like, you know, from an older car and then to a newer car, like, do you think that's like a big glow up? Like, did that feel
I feel like it is.
that was like a big glow up, right?
Yeah, because that car, I mean, I loved it. You know, it was my first car and everything. Like that car, it would overheat all the time.
I had a Camry too, just like
Yeah, and
overheat.
I would have to put water in it
Damn.
all the time, or else smoke would start coming out of it. It was embarrassing, but I mean, it did the job. You know, I wasn't like, oh, I don't want to drive this.
Yeah.
You know, at the time, it was like it got me to point A to point B.
And it was cool that you literally showed that in your vlog.
Oh,
Like, you know,
I did.
like
I would show everything.
it
I would
was so real. That's what
show
I
me
think.
putting water in it and everything.
Man,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. It's like you can't filter out that realness because then like your videos don't seem as legit.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I think like your persona, from what I'm hearing from these guys, seems like it's all legit. Do you ever feel like since now you're kind of bigger, have you met? You don't got a name drop, but have you met people you're kind of like, they're not as cool as they are on Instagram? And have you felt that energy?
I think I met a couple people like that.
Yeah.
Kind of just like, oh, they're like on their Instagram, they're not who they really are in person.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
do you feel like that's kind of like, I mean, obviously it's lame, but do you feel like a lot of people fake that energy just to get where they're at, essentially kind of taking the clout?
Sometimes, but the thing is, like, sometimes it's not always bad. You know, sometimes I know someone who's kind of annoying on YouTube, but in person, like, they're really chill.
I feel you.
It's like
It's like a
it's
marketing.
weird. It's like, bro, like, why can't you be like this in person? Why can't you be like this all the time, dude? You're so chill. Like, I would actually watch your videos if you were like this.
All right, no names.
No
But,
names. I love
But
it.
maybe that audience liked it. You know, that's why you have to keep
so
doing it.
It makes sense because, yeah.
nah, just questions like that, man. I just wanted to throw you off. And I was gonna also mention, I seen what was that last event in the Bay Area? That one that was like a sneaker auction. Did you go to that? The sneaker auction that was in the Bay.
I didn't.
You didn't.
No.
Oh, okay, man. I was gonna see. What was the last like event you went to that was like a sneaker?
It was SneakerCon. Here or
Just anywhere.
it was SneakerCon. It was in
Ohio. Was that the one in Ohio?
no. They just had one in Ohio. Last
Okay.
weekend. I didn't go to that though.
What was the last one you went to? Then can you remember? He's like, damn. See, this guy's busy, bro. He like, wait, hold up.
I've been to too many.
No, I just Florida.
Okay.
It was Florida.
Okay.
Florida.
And the reason I was just gonna ask, going and wherever traveling outside of the state, is this sneaker culture very different than it is out here?
Mhm.
Like, do you see like more
notice,
like phone posits or
Yeah, you notice like, oh wow. Well, I mean, I'm not. No offense to anyone, but it's like when you go to, when you go to like New York and everything, there's of course because it snows out there.
Yeah.
You see a lot more Tims. I'm not even saying this in a bad way. It's just
facts.
It's what you
it's facts,
notice.
B.
And that's what you do wear because it's
No, yeah, definitely. And there's nothing wrong with Tims. Tims are cool and everything. It's just you see a lot more Tims, more Air Force Ones over there, and like more higher top shoes. I feel like just because of the
Things
weather.
that could cover
Yeah.
their feet.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, you still got Jordans and the low tops and everything
Yeah.
like that,
but not as much, huh?
not as much. You just see more Tims.
Less Vans too, huh?
Yeah.
You don't see any Vans out there,
in New
bro.
York.
Yeah, they don't really mess with Vans.
That makes sense.
But my brother and sister would make fun of me because my brother and sister actually live in New Jersey.
Mhm.
They always make fun of my Vans. You know what I mean? Like, look, those aren't even shoes. You can't wear them. Really out in the
Hey,
East
you can
Coast.
flip them though,
Hey, you can.
like literally
Oh,
flip
I
them.
seen that. I seen that. They always
Oh, man.
land. Lightweight, it's fake. It's fake. No, that's tight. Eric, I know you also had an experience with. Did you go to New York or you did?
I did. Yeah, me and Arvy went to New York. In,
Oh, but you
eighth
guys were
grade.
kids.
That was like in
right?
8th grade.
Yeah, I was gonna say you
Oh,
guys didn't
kids,
know nothing
bro.
about sneakers yet.
I was a nice young man at that age.
Oh, you guys went 8th grade? Was it for like Columbia or?
Yeah, it was for Columbia.
Yeah,
They had that
Columbia.
New York trip.
Did you sell like you sold the beef
Candy?
jerky?
Yeah, the
Or
beef jerky and
or-
candy. Yeah,
Damn.
I think Arvy sold to himself.
I
Dang.
did.
He
I was
got-
like, fuck it. I want to eat some.
He got high on
For
his
the
own
dollar.
supply.
Hey, I was supporting myself. Wait, back in middle school, weren't you slanging like chocolates or candies?
Yeah, I would sell candy.
Damn.
So that was like, I was legit like my first job.
Did you get caught up?
I did get
You
caught
did?
up.
Yeah, I
It
did
was
too
the
in high
worst-
school.
It was the worst.
Yeah, tell us the story of what happened.
Yeah,
How did
let
this
us
go
know, let us
down,
know.
dude?
I don't want to say the teacher's. Okay.
Yeah, you
Okay,
don't.
no,
Yeah,
I will. I don't care. So, do you remember Mr. Badawi?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He kind of looked like Albert Einstein.
Yeah. Yep.
How do you kind of look like?
Dude, he did. I'll pull up a picture. What's it called? Yeah, I was doing it for a while, and then I was in his class, and he really didn't like me, just because I was more on the class clown side, and I would just do that. And I guess one time he was walking behind me, and I had my backpack like this. I was reaching inside, and I was like gonna sell some candy to someone. I think the camera turned off. And like I was gonna sell some candy, and then he comes up from behind me and just grabs my backpack, and I'm like, oh no, this is it. So then there wasn't much in there, and there wasn't really good flavors in there. There was like Milky Way, Three Kings, all the flavors that no one really liked, that aren't the hard hitters. So he started passing them out around the class. And I'm like, oh, you better pay for that, man.
Did you have money on you? Did he take your money?
Oh no, he didn't take my money or anything.
Oh, because he just saw you.
He just saw what was ever in the backpack, and I always had it in my pocket.
What?
And
Why? So that's strange.
Did he tell like the administration?
oh
Like,
yeah, and then I had in school detention, lunch detention for like I think it was like 6 weeks.
Damn.
Yeah, so it's like every lunch I had to go into the office and just sit there.
Damn.
for selling candy?
I guess, yeah.
Wait,
Well,
you
he
admitted?
made it seem like it was a bigger deal. Like I was disrupting the class and everything.
Oh,
So wait, did they hit you for selling candy, or like did you confess?
Well, I mean, they hit me for selling candy pretty much.
Okay, damn.
Oh, because he was like, "Oh, you're selling." Well, in his funny accent, he's like, "Oh, you're selling candy in my class." And I'm just like,
oh my god! I never got. I mean, okay, I guess I understand why you're not allowed to do it as a kid.
Yeah.
But it's like as a teacher,
yeah.
like if I'm looking at a kid and he's just trying to hustle, like sell some candy.
Do your thing,
Bro,
I'd buy some.
like, no, bro.
Give me 2 Twix.
I was like, oh, you don't got no Kit Kats? All right, I guess I'll take the Milky Way. You know what I mean? But like, I just don't understand the logic behind that. Like, if anything, like, I'd encourage it a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I used to sell high chews. You guys remember high chews?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, and the thing is, there was like an Asian market, and no one knew about these markets. So we were selling exotic candy on campus all the time. Like, yo, what is this? Like, what is a high chew? And then after a while, they went in 7-Eleven, and I went out of business. I went out of business, bro. Yo, the you know how they come in a pack or whatever?
Yeah.
I sold 4 for like $5, and they're only like $2 each. You know what I mean?
Dang.
Yeah,
Man,
bro.
you're the plug.
I was a plug, bro. I was a plug. But that's an
Oh,
old
man.
story.
It's the old you.
Damn, those middle school days though. What middle school did you go to?
I went to Cabrillo, which is in Santa Clara. What school did Alex go to? Do you know?
I don't know. I think
Do you know what high school he went to? Santa Clara.
Santa Clara.
Okay, see, I went to Wilcox.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I went to actually to San Miguel and Bishop,
Mm.
and then I moved 5th grade, and I went to live in Santa Clara. And it sucked because I was still borderline. Like I could have went to the in between, but they didn't. They just said, "Man, you're Santa Clara." And that sucked because I'm not from there.
And it's also like it's kind of crazy to me that we're all like, I mean, we didn't all go to the same school at the same time, or I guess we kind of did. But it's cool to see a lot of people in our community just trying to do something a little bit more creative than like I expected. You know, like when I was in high school, I did not think I'd be like doing a podcast right now. I did not think I'd be like trying to design clothes. None of that was like even an option to me. You know, I thought I was gonna be. I didn't know what I was gonna be. Like literally, I was just literally forced to make a decision in like high school. So I guess what I'm trying to get at is like, what advice do you have for that high schooler that's that senior in high school that is like thinking about doing something creative or doesn't even really know what to do? What would be like a practical piece of advice to get them going?
Pretty much to not be afraid of like failure. I guess because I guess there's we probably all have ideas in our head, but we probably don't want to do them because we're scared of the outcome, or we're scared of how it's gonna turn out. Maybe it's not gonna do too well, or it's not gonna do too good. So I guess to keep that in mind, just you're gonna fail in life well, not in life, but you're gonna fail. No, you're gonna fail in life.
Yes.
You're gonna fail once or
the same
twice.
sentence.
It's the way. It's a tone. It's a
Yeah,
tone.
it's a tone. You're right.
Positive.
In life, you're gonna fail, but it's just it's just. Man, I was going somewhere.
You're gonna I'll help you out get it back. You're gonna fail in.
You're gonna fail
Life.
in life. You're gonna fail, and you just gotta learn from that. Learn from the mistakes, and just do what you want to do. Pretty much.
Does your family support you all the way with this?
Yeah.
Even in the beginning, or was it hard for them to kind of grasp the idea? Real quick, what is your nationality?
I'm half Mexican, half Salvadorian.
Oh, dope, man! You get pupusas and burritos, man.
Oh yeah,
and
it's
tacos.
That's exactly what I tell people all the time.
Damn, blessed.
Damn, Hannah Montana, best of both worlds, bro.
Oh, for real.
David Montana?
No, but no, that's tight to hear that. Like, does your family come from any type of background? Like, what are they like? What type of in the Silicon Valley background, or are they kind of just like immigrants and they?
No, yeah, they were both immigrants, and
so you're first generation.
Yeah.
He's like, hold on, let me.
Yes.
Yeah, that's actually really tight. And in the beginning, like I'm talking about from the very beginning, did they understand what you were doing?
My mom wasn't really sure what I was doing, but she was just like, yeah, I mean, yeah, try it and everything. And that's when she was always like, oh, but you're still gonna keep your job, and oh, you need to go back to school and do this. And I'm like, yeah, I will, don't worry, I will. And
then it took off and you said peace, huh?
Yeah.
So today she's like all the way there.
Oh yeah, now she like well, it's not that she didn't understand, but now she understands more.
So did you talk to her a lot about it? Like, did you like have those conversations, or is it just kind of you just kept doing your thing?
Yeah, and then evolving and evolving.
I talked to her about it, and she's like, oh yeah, like she would always support me. It's not that she didn't support me, but she was just skeptical of the idea.
Because it's not secure.
Yeah, it's not.
You know, the idea of this being secure, it's not secure at all. You know, and I feel like that's why a lot of our parents, like, they really judge what we're doing because to them it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like once you kind of just show them like what's possible, then that's when they're like, oh, okay, I get it. You know, and you might see a little check or something, and they're like, oh, okay.
Dude, have I ever told you guys the story of when I first told my parents I was gonna try to make clothes?
No,
I never told you guys that.
Nope.
Oh my god, dude.
Story time.
No, so literally, I when we started Spiff, and like I started seeing like, I don't know, I like that it was a possibility. You know, I had that moment exactly what you're talking about, where I literally said, oh, I don't give a fuck if I fail anymore. Like, I just literally didn't care anymore. And I was like, we're gonna make this clothing brand. We're gonna make T-shirts. We're gonna do whatever it is, right? So I fully committed. Like, I was already in the credential program to become a teacher. I was already all the way there, pretty much like one semester away from getting everything done. And I literally was like, fuck it, I'm just trying to make clothes. That's just what I'm gonna do now. And I was at Fall Wall with my parents.
Wow.
Yeah, and I literally was eating there, and I'm like, you know, they're both in front of me, just me, and I'm just like eating these noodles, and I'm watching them eat, and then out of nowhere, I just tell them, hey, I don't think I'm gonna be a teacher. And then like you just see my parents, like the noodles are in the air, they're just like we paid like, and you could see in their eyes, they're kind of like, we paid for 5 years of your fucking college, and you're telling me now that you don't want to be a teacher. And I'm just like, yeah, I think I'm gonna make T-shirts. And then they're looking at me, and I'm telling you, the noodles were in the air still, and I'm just like, yeah, you know. And then they're like, but then I could see them. I'm thinking about it, and they're just like, well, you do like clothes a lot, and I was just like, yeah, I mean, like that's all I ever do. All I do is thrift. All I do is like buy the streetwear. You know what I mean? Just what I do. And they're like, yeah, but like you should still be a teacher. And at that moment, I was just like, nah, I'm not gonna do that, you know. But then the whole thing I was telling them was like, look, this is what's gonna make me happy. Like I had this whole conversation with them, like as they're eating, the soup was getting cold because they couldn't even eat anymore for a little bit. But I really had that talk. I was like, yo, I think if I don't do this right now, like I'm just gonna be like, I'm just not gonna be happy, like kind of what you're getting at. And then by the end of the talk, they were like, well, at least try to become a teacher, see how it goes, you know, whatever it may be. And I was just like, yeah, I'll see how it works out. And I literally bet on like that one school at Lincoln, or let's go and teach at. I literally was like, all right, if I get the job there, I'll teach. If I don't, I'm not going to do it.
Wow.
I told my parents that. I was like, that's the plan. It's either all or nothing with that.
Wow.
And then I wasn't in the teaching system. Like I wasn't in EdJoin. I wasn't in all these like little sites to get a teaching job or anything like that. And all of a sudden, I was just like, I got an interview. And I was like, okay, I got one interview. I should do good in this. They watched me teach. Like I did well, and all this stuff happened. I ended up getting the job there, and I was like, holy crap! Like no one in the system knew I was trying to be a teacher at all, except for this one school. Like one school literally knew.
Gave you
that one, and I got the job, and I was like, damn! Like this is like a weird fate thing where
Yeah.
like suddenly like I'm doing both.
Did you ever have that moment, Dave, where you're like, dude, I'm gonna just commit, like that, kind of like what Eric had?
Yeah,
like,
it actually that reminded me, and like it sparked another thing that I was thinking about. It's like when I told my mom that I didn't want to go to school anymore, and I was just like, nothing against school, school,
It depends on the person.
It depends on the person.
Yeah.
School is not for everyone,
Yeah.
And I mean, if you're in school, keep going, keep pushing, but it's just like
No, that's what you want if you're
Yeah.
in it,
like if you have a set goal and you need to go to school for that, like then go for it. But if there's other routes, but I was telling my mom, I was like, yeah, I don't really want to go to school anymore. And she's like, oh, but you have to. I wasn't even driving at the time. She would drop me off at Dianza, and I would just go straight to the library, and I would just wait there until it's time for her to pick me up. Like, man, I didn't have my license back then or anything. And I was just like, man, like, when am I gonna tell her like that I haven't been going to my classes?
So you just stay in the library all day?
Yeah, and I would just stand there and I would just thinking. This is even way before YouTube and everything too, because I was just thinking. I was like, what do I want to do? Like, I went to school for a year and a half at Dianza, and I was just taking like 2 classes each quarter, 1 class each quarter. I was taking like an art class, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. So I was just going with the flow, the basic AA and everything, and it just didn't work. It just didn't work out, and so finally,
there's literally a point where you just stop going.
Yeah, I'm just like, Mom, like I was bringing up, Abraham Lincoln didn't go to school.
And now he was the president of our people.
I mean, he's the president. He's a pretty cool guy. I mean, he didn't go to school, self-taught.
He changed the world.
Yeah.
I think I could change the world.
I legit.
She's probably like, what the?
She's like, who are you? I legit looked up.
People who didn't go to school.
Yeah, I look famous people who didn't go to school.
Like, so you were in the library, just like, okay, well, what's this one I gotta do? Google.
George Washington didn't go to school.
I'm literally in tears, bro. Because I could just imagine you, and she's just looking at you like, David, what the fuck kind of excuse is that to not go to school?
I was like, look how he's turned out,
Is that how you started your speech? Like,
well,
four score and 7 years ago.
He got murdered, right?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
that didn't end so well.
That didn't end so well. But you're pretty nervous then. Like,
yeah, I was.
Like, you didn't know how your mom was gonna react.
I went to the point where I was like looking it up, like, okay, like, what other jobs can you get without school? I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just didn't want to go to school. And I was like, man, I was thinking of everything not to go. So.
And I think that's key though. What I mean? Like a lot of people, like you realize early, it's like a level of self-awareness. Like, hey man, if I keep going to school, I'm just gonna be sitting in this library, and that's not gonna cut it, And I think that's the one thing people don't understand. It's not like a decision you should just make like that. You don't just snap your fingers, Thanos it, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm just out, right? You literally gotta think about it, and have this conversation, even if it's not like the way I think of it, it's like you have the conversation with your parents, because at that point you're like, I really feel like I gotta move on from this. I gotta do something different, and I need to even admit it to myself when I'm talking to my parents, but 2, admit it to someone else and kind of put it out there, like, hey, I'm gonna try something a little different.
Yeah. I think I'm not speaking as if I was a parent, but as parents, they just, like I said, they just want that secure feeling, like that's all they want.
That
like
the kid's okay.
Yeah, because I swear, my mom's super Filipino. Like, she made me go to nursing school. Like, I went to nursing school. I got my CNA, and I was like, dude, I hate this. Like I said, again, nothing against the nurses and stuff, but it just wasn't for me, And it was hard to tell her. Like, I had to look at her and tell her, like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, it's like you're breaking their heart.
Yeah,
dude, yeah.
Because, she graduated from Dianza and then went to San Jose State and everything. Oh, she went to Fremont too, so she's like,
that's crazy. Wow.
And yeah, so she was like, she kind of, not that she wanted me to go her route, but she's like, like, you're lucky to have all these classes, because back then, like, when parents talk about, I had to, the way I had to get to school, like,
I had to ride a horse.
I had to ride a horse, I had to swim like 3 miles. Yeah, so she's like, you're lucky, like, it was hard for us to get into the Anza or like school and everything back then, so like you should be taking advantage of all this stuff. It was harder.
Well, so
for us.
your parents came as immigrants, right? And then they went to school.
Yeah.
Wow, that's dope, bro.
Yeah,
that's really dope.
And I could see why she was just like, as just a parent, like
Yeah.
you're just worried. I mean, you just graduated high school, you're going to a community college, and she's probably just like, if he's not gonna go to school, what is he gonna do?
No, yeah, definitely.
And she just doesn't want that. But she didn't know that this was gonna happen. You didn't know this was gonna happen.
All that time in the library, bro.
All that time just thinking and plotting.
That was really studying.
Like, I literally just imagine you go and like your mom drops you off. You're like, she's like,
I'm
have a
just
good
like,
day.
all
Yeah.
right, peace.
You go straight to the library.
Off to my seat.
Straight to the library. Damn, that's hella funny, bro. And like, again, when you told your mom that, she was just like, that disappointment, like, kind of in her face, or she away got it?
Well, she right away, she was just like, oh, no, you can't. What do you mean, like, you want to stop going to school? You can't stop going to school.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I mean, I've just been sitting in the library all the time.
So you actually
I told her, yeah. I told her,
Oh,
and I was
man.
like, dude, like, I'm not going to my class. I'm not doing anything. I'm just failing.
Damn.
Getting all these, like, it's looking bad on me. Where to the point where my account got, like, locked on Dianza or something.
Wow.
Damn.
Where, like, she even got, like, a notification.
Damn.
Yeah, it
Wow.
was, like, my account got suspended or something, I guess.
Yo, that's
just being
insane.
inactive.
Yeah.
Not showing up to all the classes. You're like, they're not gonna waste their time.
Damn, David.
So I'm just like, oh, man, like, yeah, I'm
I ain't doing this.
Yeah.
Damn. And where were you working at the time?
I wasn't. Oh, I was a soccer referee
Oh, wow. That was
Yeah.
your part-time job while you were
at
doing
that time.
Got
At that
you,
time,
got
but that
you.
was just on weekends. So during the days, I wouldn't really do much.
Really? So that's what I'm saying. Like, that in between, bro. It's like, what do you do?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, were you just plotting? Were you actually trying to create? What were you doing when you when you stopped going to school?
when I stopped.
Yeah,
going to
when you just
school,
stopped.
I guess I was after I stopped going to school, pretty much I kind of got a job working for a after school program. So I was taking a child development class, and for the child development class you needed like a certain amount of hours working with children.
Mm-hmm.
So I had an opportunity where they're just like, oh yeah, we'll just hire you, and I'm like,
Oh, wow.
all right, cool. And it was only like 3.5 hours a day just after school and stuff. So I started working there, and that's when I kind of stopped going to school.
And then you just kind of committed to
Yeah.
towards your YouTube and your
Yeah.
shoes and all. That's interesting, bro.
Man, honestly, those every time I think about those moments, and I think we each have a version of it, it's like that feeling of like not knowing what the hell is gonna happen next, but like still taking that plunge.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, like sometimes like I think about it just to keep me hungry.
Nah, for real.
Because like dude, like I just think about when I had no idea how to design anything.
Yeah.
And I was literally sitting on my laptop, like telling myself, "Oh, we're gonna do this," with no idea
Figure
how
it
to
out.
do anything.
Mhm.
Like I've noticed that, like, I mean, we're a couple years in now, and I've lost that like spark or that hunger to like gain knowledge of how to do things. So is there any advice that you would have for someone who's at that point? Like maybe they have been doing YouTube for 2 years, but they're still not seeing that progress they like. What would you say to that like YouTuber or like whatever they are?
Well, it depends who, but I guess if they're doing YouTube, it's just find that niche, like find that market that you want to do, and try to. You kind of also got to see like what's trending, what's popping on YouTube. Like, oh, like these videos are doing pretty good. Let me try to make a similar video to that, just to kind of get out there, and just pretty much
Try to find your market.
be
trying
good
to
at
find
your
your
craft,
market.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's an underrated thing. It's like,
How do you find that?
yeah, you to study that.
Yeah.
To pay attention.
You know what? Like, I mean, just for me, just social media, I think in general, I think how you usually find your market is you literally just look what has the most likes sometimes, what has the most comments, what did I do? You know what I mean? Just stuff like that, I think helps you with what, you find your market.
And also, like, I mean, what you actually like yourself.
Yeah, that's very true.
Like
But I mean, the videos you make, I hope you
Yeah, no.
I hope
No,
you
but
like-
because like that's for me. One thing I realized is like when I started becoming not successful, because I'm still like really like whatever. But when I started feeling like a part of a community was when I found like you said, like my niche, like what I was actually into, and like really trying to become a part of that community.
Yeah.
Like trying to talk to other artists, trying to talk to other clothing brands,
Yeah.
trying to actually make those types of connections. It does make a huge difference.
What, David, were you doing that type of things, like really being out in the streets and shaking hands and trying to network? all
Oh
those-
no, not at all. I was
Really?
I was always like an introvert.
Wow.
So I was always super shy when it came to like different like events like that. I wouldn't want to go like up to people and be like, "Hey, like how's it going?" and all that
Yeah.
stuff. But
Damn. So you all kind of just like networked all through social media and then like meeting up with people that mutual people
yeah.
essentially. Wow, damn. That's crazy, bro, cuz to me I was always like kind of old school, you know, like I got to go hand out flyers, you know what I mean? Like just to promote myself, shake hands with everybody.
Mhm.
So I think if that works for you, man, attack that. You
Yeah,
know?
I mean, it goes down to being authentic.
Yeah.
You know, like he's
definitely.
just being him. Like
Exactly.
In my opinion, like it's versus like, don't get me wrong, it's good to step out of your comfort zone, but at the end
Mhm.
of the day, like authenticity is always gonna win. Like,
Yeah.
it just like if like you said, if like showing David put the water in his car, like doing little things like that, like it means a lot to the people out there who are doing the same types of things. you
Yeah.
know?
And David, man, Eric, I know you love to do this part of
yeah.
the show, man.
We gotta make a theme song for this part of the show. So we're at the last we're in the last kind of section of the podcast. We've been talking for a good hour, so we're gonna introduce our next segment, the What Matters Most.
David.
I was trying to think of that theme
Most.
song right now. I was gonna sing it for
Dun,
y'all.
dun, dun, dun.
What
Yeah, give me-
matters most?
What matters most is David. But like it's something that we like to do at the end of every podcast, just like kind of as a farewell and kind of your last main piece of, I don't know, life advice that you want to give. We like to ask our guests what matters most.
About
Anything.
anything.
Yeah.
Pretty much what matters is you got to do what you love pretty much. If you don't do what you love, then you're not doing what you love. If you don't do what you love, then find out what makes you happy, see if there's a market for it, and just go with it. I guess happiness
Is what matters most.
is what
to you.
matters most.
Man.
And it's always those like those simple answers that I love this question because like it generates like a kind of like a, well, damn, like one thing matters to me.
Yeah.
Like how do I even elaborate on that? Because it's that simple, but I think people need to realize it really is that simple.
Yeah, it's like when you ask me like I forgot what you asked me. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
I know what you're
my
talking
answer
about,
my
yeah.
answer was
because you're
oh, like
happy.
how do you feel? Like where do you see this going, or how do you feel about like your videos and stuff? Like oh, like
it just makes me happy.
just makes me happy.
Yeah.
Like why do you do it? Oh, it makes me
Makes
happy.
you
That's
happy.
why.
Yeah, and I think people need to understand that like we get in our heads so much and we overthink and we make it way more complicated than it really is. But simply said, and like this isn't the first time we heard it, it's not the 100th time, it's probably the 1,000,000th time.
Exactly.
Do what makes you happy. You know what I mean? Like if you're not doing that, dude, it stresses me out because you know you got one at bat, and that's why I think we're very honored to have you here as a guest, is because you're one of the people who did inspire us to like take this at bat seriously. Like you said, do what makes us happy.
And taking
Appreciate
YouTube, man, I gotta take YouTube way more serious, bro. Way more serious.
Yeah.
David, real quick before you head out, any events, anything coming up for you in the future? Plug in your social media as well, bro.
You guys can follow me on Instagram at Davidgotkicks, Snapchat Davidgotkicks, Twitter Davidgottweets, YouTube.
David got tweets.
Yeah,
That's sick.
Davidgotkicks was taken already, so
Oh,
I was like, what? Yeah, I know.
Imposter.
Oh, you remember your fan page?
Oh, David got pics. Dude, he would just go to whoever I'm following and start following
Yeah,
them.
and I was
Bro,
like,
I thought it was you. I was like, oh, David got photography
I
account.
know. I was like, I'm pretty honored.
Yeah, and I'm just like, and I finally reached out to him, like, bro, like, who are you?
Did he respond?
Yeah, we started. I guess he's like this kid, but I mean,
Oh,
cool.
really?
Yeah, it's cool.
Oh, that's pure love, man. You gotta
pure
put him
love.
on,
Yeah.
man.
Man.
He might be a hard worker, bro.
No, yeah, he was telling me like, oh, I can't say it on here, but
Okay.
yeah. we'll wait.
But yeah, any events coming up, right? Or just kind of working?
events. Well, Bay Area Sneaker Con is coming up
What?
July 13th and 14th.
Wow. Are you you're having your own booth there?
I'm gonna be there.
Okay.
Gonna try and get my car out there if it's all done.
Nice.
And yeah, stop
Like
by.
you're gonna display it inside, or
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I'll
Wow.
display it at the
Wow.
booth and stuff like that.
Wow.
That'd be sick.
What are you gonna be doing at the booth? Like, are you
Usually, probably just selling stuff, or just as sneaker cons are cool because you get to like interact with people who watch your videos, or people who just support you, and it's nice to see like old and like familiar faces. So I'll be there just hanging out.
Man, I feel like we gotta pull up.
We gotta
man.
pull
we
up,
gotta
man.
pull up now. We gotta pull up and show love.
Yes, sir.
But man, David got kicks, bro. We really appreciate you coming through. You said you were nervous, bro. You did really great, man. David got kicks, man. Yeah. Well, you again. We gotta take it out. Eric, go ahead and start it off.
Yo, this is a P's Lifestyle. I'm Young E.
I'm DJ Burr.
I'm RV.
David got kicks.
You appreciate
And we
y'all.
are out.
Peace.